In this lesson, we will study mortgages. So, a mortgage is an agreement between some type of a bank or lending institution that allows someone to borrow money so they can purchase a home. So, maybe a shorter definition is a mortgage is a long term installment loan. When we say long term, that could be something like 15 years to 30 years. And when we say installment, usually that means monthly. So people are making monthly payments. So how are these monthly payments determined? Well, that's what we'll talk about in this lesson. To start with, the term mortgage can mean the dollar amount of the loan that is taken out itself, the entire loan, so not just the monthly payments. That has a simple formula to compute it. The mortgage is the sale price, the amount of money that you agree to pay for the house, minus a down payment that is required by the bank. Let's make up some numbers for this. Let's say there's a house that you agree to buy, and the sale price that you agree to is $499,000. So a nice house in a nice school district, maybe a 2-car garage with a bonus room above, maybe it has a chimney, I don't know. So you found this great house with everything you want, and this is the price that you agree to pay. But assuming you don't have this much money just to outright pay for the house, you'll go to a bank or some other lending institution to take out a mortgage to pay for this thing. So let's say the lender agrees to give you a mortgage. That is a risk for them, and therefore they're going to require that you put a down payment on the house. This is a percent of the sale price that the lender requires you pay to the seller. The reason for this is if you were to default on this loan, the bank is the one that's left with the house, and this down payment will act as a cushion so they won't lose money when they try to sell it. A standard down payment is 20% of the sale price. So if this was the sale price of the house, then the down payment is 20% of this number. So let's compute that. The down payment is you take the sale price and you multiply it by 20%, and that comes out to be $99,800. And therefore, the mortgage in this example is the difference of these two. So that would be $499,000 minus $99,800. So 499,000 minus 99800. Okay, the value of the mortgage is $399,200. This is the loan that the institution is willing to give to you, and you'll make monthly payments, eventually paying this off between 15 and 30 years. Notice that this down payment, it's still pretty substantial. That is quite a bit of money. Most people probably won't have $100,000 for a down payment on a house. I certainly didn't. And so when I took out a mortgage, I paid less. I think I paid 10% down payment for my home. So a smaller percentage for a down payment is possible. However, it makes it riskier for the lender. And for this reason, you might have to pay for something called private mortgage insurance, PMI. This is an extra fee that will be added to your monthly mortgage payment until you've reached 20% of the sale price of the house. Essentially, you are paying a premium on an insurance policy in the event that you default on your loan. Ultimately, this will make the mortgage that the lender agreed to a less risky investment. Now, why is a bank or lending institution so kind to give you this mortgage? Well, we'll look at that next. The reason a lender is willing to give you a mortgage, which is a massive loan, is because they'll make a lot of money off of you through interest. There are two different types of rates that you can encounter. There's a fixed mortgage rate. This is an interest rate that will remain the same over the life of the entire mortgage. If we compare that to a variable rate mortgage, this is one where the interest rate can change over the life of the mortgage. It won't remain fixed. So the good thing about a fixed rate mortgage is that your monthly payments won't change as time goes on. But the downside is normally a fixed rate mortgage is higher. I don't know, maybe it's something like 6%. Now, with a variable rate mortgage, they usually start out lower, maybe something like 4%. But the fact that they're variable means, well, they could potentially go up. And in fact, that should be anticipated. In either case, this interest rate will have a big effect on the amount of money that you pay over the life of the mortgage. Now, before we actually get to the formula for that monthly payment, just a few other considerations. First, there are closing costs. Now, this will refer to any fee that is required by the lender that is due at the time of closing, so right before you move into your home. This includes money for what is known as points and also escrow. First, a point is a 1% payment of the size of the mortgage. From our example on the previous slide, the value of the mortgage was $399,200. To say 1 point means you multiply this by 1%, which is 0.01. This will move the decimal point over 2 places, giving us $3,992. So this dollar amount is a 1 point payment for the size of this mortgage. Now, this payment goes to the lender, but it does not reduce the size of the mortgage. It is paid to the lender typically to reduce the interest rate. So perhaps you could make a 2-point payment to reduce 6% down to 5.5%, or maybe 4% down to 3.75%. So this won't subtract from this mortgage, but by reducing this percent, it'll reduce the interest that you pay over the life of the loan. These typically are not required, but are offered as an option by the lender. So for something like a 1, 2, or 3 point payment, meaning 1, 2, or 3 times this amount, you can reduce your interest rate. The other factor in closing costs is something called escrow. Now, this is an account held by a third party, so not you, not by the lender, but the lender will require that you add a certain amount of money to this account. And this money is used to pay for things like your PMI insurance and also property tax that your town requires where the home is. The reason that this is a requirement is, well, if you don't pay your property tax, then you lose your house. And again, that's not great for the lender. The next thing we're going to do is actually look at the formula for determining your monthly mortgage payment. Now, it won't include things from closing costs, any points that you pay towards your mortgage, and also money that goes into your escrow account. And the money that is going into your escrow account can be very substantial. To get an idea of this, if the home that you purchased was valued at $499,000, the town that you live in could have a high property tax. It might require you to pay annually $21 for each $1,000 worth of value of the home. To compute that for this home, you would take 499, the thousands part, and multiply it by 21. So we'll do that here. That's 499 times 21. This would give you the tax that goes to the town over the course of 1 year. I mean, that's $10,479. Additionally, you could have PMI insurance that you have to pay as well. Now, this would happen if you paid less than a 20% down payment, like a 10% down payment. The way this would work is, with a 10% down payment, the size of the loan would be $449,100. So this assumes here a 10% down payment. And in this case, the PMI insurance could be roughly 1% the size of this loan. So to figure out the amount that you're paying for that premium would be, you take $449,100 and you're multiplying that by 1%, which is 0.01. That comes out to $4,491. So if you add these together, you have to pay that additional amount over the course of a year. So just to sum that up, so again, we have $10,479 for taxes for the town, and you might have to pay $4,491 for the PMI insurance, And the sum of this that's $14,970 extra over the course of a year. We're making monthly payments here, so you could divide this by 12. That comes out to $1,247.50. So each month you'd make your mortgage payment, but you'd have to add this in every single month too. So this can dramatically increase your monthly payment. Now, the PMI insurance won't last forever. Once you've paid off 20% of the home, this is usually removed, but you'd still have to worry about the property tax. So next, we'll look at how to compute the monthly mortgage payment, but just keep in mind that it won't include things from closing costs. The formula for the monthly mortgage payment, PMT, is given by P times R over N, all divided by 1 minus 1 plus R over N to the negative NT exponent. Here, P represents the amount of the mortgage, so not the sale price of the house, but the mortgage. R is the annual interest rate as a decimal. N is the number of payments per year, which is 12. And T is the number of years to repay the mortgage, so typically something between 15 and 30 years. Now, example 1, let's again work with the sale price of the home at $499,000. We'll say the bank requires a 20% down payment. This means there will not be any PMI insurance. And they will require 2 points at the time of closing as well. We will assume the cost of the home is financed with a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage at 7%. Let's determine the down payment, the amount of the mortgage, the amount paid for the 2 points at closing, the monthly payments, which we use this formula for, and the total interest paid over the life of the mortgage. So we've done the down payment already, but just to look at that again, for the down payment, we take the sale price of the home and multiply it by 20%. And when we do that, we get $99,800. So that's the required amount for the down payment. This means the mortgage, the size of the loan, is going to be the sale price minus the down payment. And that is equal to $399,200. So that's the size of the loan. Now, they're requiring 2 points at the time of closing. If you'd like a single point, what you do is you take the value of the mortgage, which is $399,200, and you multiply it by 1%, which is this. The dollar amount is $3,992. Now they're saying they want 2 points. So therefore, we're going to multiply this by 2. And when we do this, so 3,992 times 2, that is $7,984. Let's now figure out the monthly payment. And that's where we have to use this formula here. So if we want to know the monthly payments, I'm going to directly substitute all of the numbers into this formula. The value of P is the mortgage itself. That's $399,200. And we are multiplying that by R as a percent. So here R is 7%. So as a decimal, that's 0.07. This is 0.07 divided by the number of payments per year, and that's going to be 12. Then this is all divided by 1 minus 1 plus 0.07 over 12 to the power of negative 12 times whatever T is equal to. T is the length of the mortgage, and T is 30 years. So I'll say T is equal to 30 years. I will simplify this in a calculator down to a single number, and I will round this to the nearest dollar. All right, so I typed this expression into my calculator, so it looks exactly like this. And the dollar amount that I get, rounded to the nearest dollar, is $2,656. So that's the monthly payment. This is what you'll be paying every month for 30 years. Now, over the life of the entire mortgage, how much interest is being made off of you? What I'll do is I'll take this monthly amount and multiply by 12. That's how much we'll be paying a year. Then you can multiply that number by 30. That'll be the amount of money that you're paying to the bank over 30 years. You would then subtract off the amount of the mortgage. The difference is the interest that you pay. So that process looks like this. So each month you're paying $2,656, but you have to multiply that by 12. And this tells you how much you're paying every year, 2,656 times 12. So each year you're paying $31,872. Now some of that's going to the principal, but some is also going to interest. Now if you do this for 30 years, you've paid $956,160. That's the amount of money over 30 years that you're paying to the bank. But this is the actual size of the mortgage. If you subtract this from this, what is left over is the interest that you paid. So I'm now going to subtract the $399,200. Okay, so 399,200. The amount paid in interest is $556,960. So this is the total interest. Which is a lot of money. And a great reason why some lending institution would want to sell you a mortgage. It does allow you to get a home, but at a pretty big cost. And just one other thought, the number here for the monthly payment, this did not include any of the closing costs. So you're actually going to be paying more money every month. It won't add to the total interest, but your monthly bill will be more. And finally, for example 2, we're basically going to redo example 1, but change the length of time that we're taking the loan out for from 30 to 15 years. So same formula, same sale price and all that stuff, but we're just changing T from 30 to 15. So from last time, the down payment does not change. So that is still $99,800. The 2 points due at closing, that's the same, $7,984. That's no different. The mortgage itself, that didn't change. That was $399,200 and is still 12. R is still 0.07. But what is different is T is equal to 15. It is not equal to 30. Will this have a big effect on the amount of interest that you will pay over the life of the mortgage? To figure that out, to answer that question, we'll go to the formula PMT and plug in what we know. The value of P is the cost of the mortgage. That is this. We're multiplying it by 0.07 divided by 12. This is all divided by 1 minus 1 plus R over N is 0.07 over 12 to the power of negative 12, but now T is, this is different, it is 15. But that is the only thing that is different. I will go to my calculator, enter this in, and round to the nearest dollar. Okay, so rounded to the nearest dollar, according to my calculator, is $3,588. So the payments are a lot more than last time, but that makes sense because it's not 30 years. We have to pay off the same mortgage in 15 years. So we're paying this amount every month for 15 years. What is the interest that we will pay over the life of the mortgage? I'll take this amount and multiply it by 12 to see how much we're paying each year. So each year, if we take $3,588 and multiply it by 12, 3,588 times 12, that is each year $43,056. Then if we take this and multiply by 15, the number of years for the mortgage, so times 15, that is a dollar amount of $645,840. This is the total amount of money over 15 years that is being paid to the bank. And that was for a loan that was this size. So if we want the total interest paid, it'll be this amount minus this amount. So that is 645,840 minus 399,200. So that's 399,200. Okay, this time the interest is $246,640. Now, that is still a substantial amount of interest, but this is less than half for the 30-year mortgage. So, in fact, it is a lot less interest paid. So the length of the mortgage is very important. The longer the length of time for the mortgage, the more interest you will pay, and it goes up quite a bit. Some people will take out a 30-year mortgage, but then as more money comes in, they can put more money towards the principal. And this is just another way to pay off the mortgage faster by paying down the principal. And the effect of that will be, on a long enough timeline, you will pay less interest. All right, so that is it for this lesson.